What the fuck just happened?
I don't know. So, Supernatural, Season 15, Episode 19, Inherit the Earth. To start off this video, the end of this episode played a lot like it's the last episode. But there's still one more. It's called Carry On. I'm struggling to see how they're going to make that into, like, a plot-driven episode.
Right. So, I mean, Carry On, having watched shows before that could be like a compilation, like, or like a reunion show or something like that, but there's like a pseudo plot line written in the IMDb entry.
And, like, there's a cast, including people that we've never seen before. There's Officer, Vampire, and Mother.
So either they're messing with us, or it's just going to be a random, let's have one more one-off random episode where we just do fun things. But they had the whole compilation. They had the whole farewell thing.
Yeah.
And I was not emotionally prepared for that.
No.
Because I'm like, I thought there was another episode. I thought they were going to, like, have a cliffhanger, two-parter, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's why I'm really super confused. Like, and if I knew that this was, like, the actual last episode, I would have loved it. But not knowing what's coming, I'm just left very confused.
Yeah, it throws you off a bit, which is a little off-putting. Or a lot off-putting. Because I'm like, I want to do an end-of-series video, but I don't know if I can.
So let's get into the episode, because I'd like to watch a classic before the end of the night.
All right.
So, start with then, Cass's death, Billy's death, taken by the empty. Now, the world has been Thanos snapped.
Yeah.
And I'm really disappointed that they didn't say
Thanos snapped.
Because I thought that would have been awesome.
Or, said, like, man, 2020 blows, or something like that. Like,
something.
There's a lot of lines they could have thrown in that would have been fun.
Dean meets up with Sam and Jack, and he still has the handprint on his jacket.
From Cass, nice continuity there.
Yep, they're in Hastings, Minnesota. Sam, it's like, I couldn't save anybody. They go into a bar, and the Bears-Vikings game is on the TV, and they really played this week. They played on Sunday night. They had the Sunday night game?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Oh, who won the Monday night game?
Who played?
Patriots?
No, I think we got that reversed. I think Patriots...
oh, right. The Patriots and Ravens played on Sunday night.
Patriots beat the Ravens, and the Vikings beat Chicago, which is funny because in the Frozen game, because, they went to the bar and the game was on the TV, but the stadium was empty because everybody's been Thanos snapped. It has said Bears 14, Vikings 3. And it was like, yeah, but no. That didn't happen.
As Jack returns to the ice cream shop he first visited, which I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember that from, it was one of the first, 3 episodes. I don't know if we had just met him or if he had just gotten his powers. It was one of the two things. But he was kind of rampaging. They couldn't keep track of him. He ended up in an ice cream shop. I think that's where Sam or Cass first cornered him and tried talking him down.
No memory of this. There have been so many episodes. And some of the early Jack episodes, I just kind of... It wasn't when I was pregnant with Isaac, was it?
I thought it was before that.
Okay.
Jack's been around a while.
Well, yeah. At any rate, Jack is killing plants as he walks by.
Mm-hmm.
In the bar, we see a sign or something for Magenkugel's beer. Like, is that a slight reference to Leinenkugels?
It looked like it.
Minnesota's close enough.
It's close enough.
And it had the same kind of
script to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fun. So Sam and Dean finally meet up with Chuck, and he demands that they and Jack live in the empty world. Like,
this is your final punishment.
Well, and he was like, this is page-turning stuff, Mm-hmm. And I'm like, really? 3 guys in a completely empty world? How is that compelling anything? Like, I refuse to watch Castaway because it seems absolutely boring to me. Somebody just in isolation.
I actually enjoy that kind of story personally. And there was that show, Last Man on Earth, which I never watched, but apparently it did okay. But I don't know, that, like the zombie apocalypse movies and shows where it's just one guy just wandering through the streets and there's nobody, like, I actually enjoy that kind of thing. It turns things on their head.
Okay. Sure. I get bored by it.
I mean, anybody would eventually. Like, once they adjust to life, it's like, oh, okay. You found more gasoline. Yay.
Yay. So they're in the bunker, and Jack comes out of his room and says that he senses a presence. So they hit the road. Stop at a gas station, and Dean finds a dog.
Puppy!
And Seymour! Yeah, a healthier looking Seymour, but yeah.
It's like Seymour from Futurama.
Okay, named it Miracle. Is Chuck gonna kill? Yep, he killed the dog. Seymour!
I was literally in the middle of writing, is Chuck gonna kill? And then, poof! I was like, you fucker.
So then they go to a Catholic church with lit candles.
Mm-hmm.
And we meet up with Michael in Adam's body.
Released from the empty for... Was he in the empty or in hell?
I think he was in the box.
He was in the box in hell.
Yeah.
But he got released for some reason.
Yeah. And they asked, Adam is gone.
Adam's gone, yeah.
So Jack... Ooh! So we notice that Jack is wearing white.
Yeah.
We find out Michael wants to help. They go back to the bunker to see if Michael can open the book, and he can't. The death book that will...
Show the God death book.
Mm-hmm. The Chuck death book.
Yeah.
Dean gets a call from Cass.
Cass!
I'm outside. Let me in. I'm hurt.
I'm hurt. Let me in. And they go... Dean goes running up to open the door, and Leonardo go,
don't do it, don't do it. And it's Lucifer who did not get... The actor didn't get the opening credits thing, which I love. I love when they do that.
Yep.
Because it's like... Ha! Psych! Because if we put the name in the opening credits, you're going to be like, ah! But they had, Jared Padalecki, Jensen Ackles. Can't remember the name of the guy who plays Jack. Him. And then Jake Abel. I'm like, okay, I know that name, but why do I know that name? And then Michael shows up. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. And then Abel.
Yeah, right.
Because when...
Dean even said, I get it, you want us to do the Cain and Abel thing.
But then, hey, there's Mark Pellegrino.
Yep.
Who didn't get an opening credit.
Because of course
And they used Misha Collins' voice.
Yeah, nice little reprisal.
Yeah.
What's that?
What's that? So then, they're like, why are you here? We don't trust you. Oh, yeah,
But it's nice to have someone to talk to.
The empty let me out. because you guys,
Need
really,
help or whatever.
really pissed off
Daddy.
and, if the empty lets me out, you're dealing with some big shit that you can't deal with. So then he conjures up Betty in chains. She's a Reaper, and she was recovered by Lucifer. And then he kills her, and she becomes Death because Billy, the last Death, was killed. So then the next Reaper that gets killed becomes Death.
Right.
And she can open the book and read it. Betty starts to read out of the book.
Hey, asshats.
And Lucifer kills her.
And grabs the book.
You wrote and becomes Death, but that's not how it works, really. Which means I think my theory is completely wrong because Dean isn't a Reaper.
Right, yeah.
Which really makes me kind of...
Yeah.
I've done so much of that.
Yeah, there's a lot... Man, going back and thinking about all of our theories, and it's just like... Oh, they ex machina some shit. But okay.
Michael is also there.
I thought Lucifer was Death because he could read the book, but it just turned out that ability grants you the ability or that thing grants you the ability to open the book.
And she could read it.
Right.
But nobody else can.
Right. And Betty opened the book. Lucifer killed her. The book was still open. He grabbed the book. That was the whole thing. Like, the book is now open.
Yeah. So Michael is there too. Lucifer reveals he's working with Chuck. Offers Jack an out. Michael stabs the ever-loving shit out of Lucifer, and pop goes the weasel. Thanks for the blade. So I think it was really interesting that the angels got what they wanted. Zachariah got what he wanted.
Yeah.
Gabriel got what he wanted.
Michael killing Lucifer finally happened. Michael in Adam's vessel, and Lucifer in whatever that guy's name was, his vessel. Nick. Ha. Well, Nicky. That's probably why they did that.
Yeah. Guess Lucy has some splaining to do. Shouldn't Michael be able to open the book now? Because we were still operating on that theory, which is completely wrong.
Yeah.
Spell to release an unstoppable force to find Chuck and kill him. Which you even said it when they were talking about the spell. You're like, no, that's not. So they do the spell, releases 3 beams, interestingly enough.
Mm-hmm.
And Chuck appears. He tells them, I'm canceling your show. Lols. Well, he kills Michael.
Right. Yeah, he just kind of force kills Michael. And Sam and Dean are just
his most loyal.
Yeah. Because it turned out Michael had turned loyal back to Chuck after all.
But Chuck fight scene.
Yeah, it was nice to see that actor be able to throw some punches.
Yeah. But I loved that Sam and Dean kept getting up, and I think they might have replayed some punches.
Yeah, there was a lot of punches.
Yeah, Chuck keeps begging them to stay down. He's like, why are you smiling? You lose.
So Jack
turns around, Jack is there, and he's like, can't snap him.
Yep.
Can't Thanos snap him.
Chuck touched Thanos snap.
The fact that he does it all with a snap.
I mean, it's right there. They just never said it.
Probably couldn't.
Maybe not. Maybe, Thanos snap.
Copyright and all that.
Maybe.
Jack drinks Chuck. So they reveal the plan. Jack's been inheriting power from everything.
All the plants that he's been walking by that have been dying.
Sam and Dean noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
So when Michael and Lucifer had their big showdown, Jack kept absorbing all those hits.
Yeah.
of the power from that was being released from those hits. They knew that Michael wasn't on their side.
Yes, they revealed afterwards. They were like, yeah, we figured Michael would go back to being little the daddy. So they were playing him the whole time.
Which isn't surprising, really, when you think about it, because Michael wore Dean.
Yeah.
So you had to know, Dean had some vestiges of how Michael works.
Sure.
Which is awesome. I didn't even think about that until now.
That's a good point. Excuse me.
So Jack inherited Chuck's power as he beat them, as Chuck was beating Sam and Dean, and that's why they kept getting up. Like, they knew what was at stake.
Because every time Chuck is exerting power of some kind, Jack is absorbing it in the background.
So that's why Jack was able to just completely drain Chuck of the god power.
Right. Yeah. Terminology is important, yes.
Yes. The imagery of Chuck crawling on his knees after them.
Yeah, as they're... Because he's like, this is the perfect ending. This is the first time I don't know what's going to happen. And he's like, to die at the hands of Sam Winchester and Dean Winchester, it's glorious.
And they're like...
that word, glorious.
No, fuck you.
Yeah, and they're like, sorry, Chuck. And they just walk away. And he's crawling on his knees after them, begging for his big ending. And it turns out, no, they just leave him human, because Dean gives a monologue. You're just going to...
Get sick, get old.
And just die, and no one will remember you.
Sam, too, was in that... So it was a duologue?
Duologue. I don't know.
Anyway.
Conversation.
It was a really well done scene.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because at that point that, you know... At this point, as a Catholic, I can separate it.
Right.
Obviously, this isn't how it works. They're not abandoning God.
Because that's not... Well, yeah.
They're abandoning Chuck. Who was a bad version of God, which, theologically speaking, it doesn't work like that. But, I'm jumping ahead a little bit. I really, really like how they did that.
How they separated it.
Yeah, so...
They made it very clear. I do find it interesting that their final image with Michael, where they found Michael, was a Catholic church. I can't but find that interesting.
Well, and they showed they panned onto a statue of Mary. And it got me thinking, their mom's name was Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Their dad's name was John. Would have been a little better if it was Joseph, but...
But, again,
John, well, no.
Woman, behold... Yeah.
Woman, behold your son. No, that's a little weird, but it's that Mary and John... Connection. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And, John was the beloved.
The beloved.
Interesting how he's called the beloved in his own Gospels. That's why I love the Thomas.
The Gospels are hilarious. They both ran, but Peter was faster.
John was faster.
Oh, John was fast. Yeah, that's right. That was him.
And Peter's just like, hey.
Was that really... You're going to include that, really?
That's what I want is... I hope that I had that conversation in heaven. Like, really? It's like, hey, you denied him. Yeah. You ran away.
You ran away.
But I came back.
Anyway.
So Jack absorbed all Chuck's power, leaving him human. What about Amara?
We'll find out later. He absorbed him. I didn't write a note for it, so... Jack says later that Amara's in here with me. We're in unity.
She probably likes Jack a lot better
yeah.
than Chuck, so... So can Jack restore everyone? I stop at gas station. Showalters. Lol. Showalters. But no, that was the director of the episode, John F. Showalter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not catch that. There you go.
Fun. Bobby Singer.
Yep.
Carver Edlund. They like to...
They like to throw stuff in.
So he can restore everything.
Yeah. He restores all of the populace.
Yep.
But not anybody we know.
No. So are we going to see Jody, Donna,
Right.
Eileen, alternate universe Bobby and Charlie?
Right. We're left wondering.
Yeah. Which is why I have a little bit of an issue with how they ended this particular episode. Oh, stop doing that. Okay. So, Dean killed Billy. Betty became Death. Lucifer killed Betty. Michael killed Lucifer. Chuck killed Michael. Is Chuck Death? But it doesn't work that way.
Because it has to be Reapers. So, can anyone read the book at this point? Does it matter?
Well, God still exists.
As who, though?
Jack.
As Jack, okay.
So, Seymour's back!
Yes,
Yay.
they showed that the dog was restored. Yay. Nobody else, but they got the dog.
So Jack is God now.
Quote unquote.
Hands off God. And not with the brothers.
Right, so they're talking to him, they're like, sweet, well done, let's go back to the bunker, we'll get some recliners, we'll get some,
a big screen TV.
Big screen TV, and Jack's like, yeah, no.
But I low-key loved his monologue.
Yeah?
Because as far off base as the show's interpretation of theology is concerned, I think they did a really beautiful job of establishing that, yes, there is a God. And he's not always going to be there. But you just have to have faith. You have to see him in other people. I thought that was beautiful. I really did. Again, not theologically sound from a Catholic perspective, but if you're talking about an overall Christian perspective, or even just an overall theistic perspective, it was really beautiful. And I love that they did that, because I didn't want the last taste in my mouth to be the Chuck version of God.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at least we can call that Jack became God.
Yes.
All of our other theories might be off.
We got that one.
We got that one.
I'll take a win.
Yeah. I thought it was really great, because it was like, yeah, I'm hands off, but I'm still here. Which is, cutting out all the other stuff. That is what our faith tells us.
Sure. I'm still here, I'm still listening.
Still listening. And if you want to go a step further, you see me in other people.
Sure.
The Beatitudes. And that whole, when I was naked, you clothed me. When I was hungry, you fed me. When I was imprisoned, you visited me. When I was sick. Like, all that stuff. Or whatever you do to the least of your brothers, you do to me.
Sure.
Like, that
worked.
Yes. And they didn't have to go into all of that. But the very simple monologue that Jack gave, that is what we believe. He is in every person.
Sure. He said, I won't be in the bunker, but I will be.
Yeah. And, you know, the fact that he's like, I'm hands off, but I'm still here. He's hands off because he has to be. Also because he said, Chuck tried to put himself in the story.
Right.
Can't do that. I think that's a very subtle nod to free will.
That's a good point. That's a good point, because this isn't a Jesus allegory. This is something else. This is a version of God, a personification of God that is tweaking and interfering in everything for his own amusement.
Kind of Old Testament God. So Jack is
Huh.
the son.
Huh.
The son of Lucifer, oddly enough.
Oddly enough.
Within this context of the story.
Right. Again, very, very hands off, but still entertaining and very, I don't know, a very cool twist.
Well, and the fact that he said, I learned from you. The human perspective.
He was a human.
Yeah. Not perfect, but still very beautiful allegory for a secular show.
Right.
You know, like, and that's what you just got to keep in mind. Like, no, it's not a perfect allegory. It's just it's a story. It's like, you know, your Greek stories.
And he died.
Yeah.
How many episodes ago?
Well, he died more than once.
Well, okay. But when
he came back as a demon.
Sure. When did he explode in the, whatchamacallit, though? In the empty. It was 2 episodes ago, wasn't it? Like Good Friday episode. This rose again on the 3rd day. All right, Supernatural, I see you.
So.
But then...
Does Chuck show up with a gun and kill them?
I was kind of waiting for, like, he's a human now. Does he just... They're all happy. They're in the bunker. They're like, all right, well done. I was waiting for Chuck to just show up with a fucking 9mm. He's like, ah!
Yeah. And they said to everyone... They cheers to everyone we lost. But where are they?
Yeah. They cheers to everyone they lost. It's like, aren't they back? Like, start making some calls.
And then there's a compilation of, like, everything, which was I was expecting in the last episode. Like, not the last episode we saw, but the final episode. No. They're doing it now? What?
What's happening?
A Crowley appearance. Yay.
I appreciate that, since they apparently had a fallout with that actor. So.
Yeah. The fuck just happened? And that's why I'm really confused. And, like, it was a great episode, but I'm really confused by the ending because they played it off like it was the final episode.
Yeah.
Driving off to the sun. Like, there's no, like, thing that comes up that would explain why there is another episode.
Yeah. Which is why I'm concerned that the final episode, which is called Carry On, is just going to be like a reunion thing. But there's this IMDb, so I don't know. I mean, we'll do our little assessment after whatever that is on Friday, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I still should reach out to Liv.
Yeah. But, yeah. I guess we'll see.
Bobby's apparently in the last episode. Because there were, like, 5 people listed in the characters. It was Sam, Dean, Bobby, and then Officer Vampire Mother.
So 6.
Yeah. I
have no idea. If it's just a random one-off, like the continuing adventures of Sam and Dean, like that's fun.
But I want more for them.
I want closure. I want the reuniting of their people and things. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I hope it is at least an episode and not just a reunion
or a clip show. Like the very last episode of Animaniacs 20 years ago was just like
a clip show.
Yeah, not even a clip show per se. It was just like little scenes played to music. So
I guess we'll see. All right, are we still gonna do another one?
Yeah, we got time. I gotta pee. We need a quick refill, and then we've got just enough for our last one.
Let's do it.
All right.
Peace.